Welcome back, everyone. This is the FloTrack Podcast, and it is May the 4th. I'm Kevin. He is Gordon. Subscribe to the FloTrack Podcast YouTube page if you haven't yet. You can watch live on our YouTube channel when we record Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central, unless we're in Pennsylvania or something. But we are back on a normal schedule. Gordon, good morning. How are you?
May the 4th be with you. Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie, quote, meme, actor, character? Like, when I say Star
Mm.
Wars to you, what do you think of?
It's a trap from Star Wars.
There you
What about you?
go. I think of there's this documentary when George Lucas is asked about, they're like talking about the casting process of young Anakin Skywalker, who turned out to be
Mm-hmm.
like a really bad actor, the kid. And he's like hyping him up that it's like he was like the perfect fit. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
kind of laughs at it because it's like he picked the worst child actor to play Anakin Skywalker. That's what I think of.
All right. We come at it from different angles, but that's okay. Track and field events as Star Wars characters. Go.
Check. All right. 400-meter hurdles is uh Darth Maul. I don't know. I don't have a connection to anything. I don't know. Like, ooh, the
I didn't know how you were going to take
steeplechase.
that.
Steeplechase is R2D2.
R2D2. They're
Yeah, why
good.
not?
We're one for one. What we
CP30
got?
pole vault. Race walk is I don't know.
Han Solo.
The race walk. No, race walk is that character that everyone hates. That looks like a dog with flappy ears.
Not sure.
Jar Jar
I'm,
Binks.
I'm,
That's the race walk. Jar Jar Binks
I'm,
is the race walk. Sorry,
I'm
race
out of
walkers,
I'm
but
out
let's
of
just be
I'm
honest.
out of my Star Wars knowledge already, and we're 2 minutes in. Comment along on our live chat. Whoa, that was a loud noise. Okay. We're gonna talk about some Continental Tour meets that we have coming up this weekend. Also, the Sound Running Tour has a few good races. It's going to take place on Friday. Talk about Mo Farah as well. There's new content on the website. People can check it out. We posted that behind the scenes that we had talked about before of the women's 4x1500 on the site. We did the one about the men's distance medley relay. But if you go to the homepage right now, I'm sure later on it'll be up on YouTube, but a behind the scenes Penn Relays women's 4x1500. Awesome race. You got your voice on there. You and Alex were doing the call. I watched that thing like 3 times, and I've watched the race itself twice. It gets better every time you watch it, just so people know.
Yeah, that's probably the best piece of content that came out from Penn Relays. This behind the scenes of the women's 4x15. If you're a big Game of Thrones fan, the episode of when they spoiler alert, or I won't
Uh-oh.
spoil it, but there's the Night King episode when there's a big battle. That's all I'll say. There's really big dramatic music that builds up to a big moment. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I feel like we get this really big dramatic music that builds up to the Tui versus Gear anchor leg, and ultimately the Arkansas win. But yeah, it's really fun. I was glued for 10 minutes. It's like a fun way to rewatch a race. It was really cool. So
Yeah, you see it from a completely different perspective, which was both perspectives, I guess. You get the perspective that you saw if you were just watching the live stream, and then you get a little bit of before, after, and during with some of the key players. I have splits for that, by the way, or
oh, you
estimations
do?
on splits. You tasked me with that. Yeah, USTFCCA put it out, and NC State said this match pretty close to what they had. So Arkansas 416, 413, 412.9, and then Gear 410.7. NC State 417, 410, 417, and then Tui 409.8 on the anchor. So that's a PR for Tui. That's fastest 1500 should ever run,
Yeah.
which confirms what we thought. We thought that last leg was screaming fast, and uh, it ended up being that quick. Follow us on Instagram. You can go out there, find a post. Travis did a mashup of me getting dunked on for my Athing Mu question, which I think is great. We got like meta content now. We have content about the content, and I could not be happier about that, even though I was the one getting dunked on. It's okay. I'm looking forward to your meta content, Gordon.
I liked it. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
well, at
good.
least you're you took it like a champ. You know, I guess who doesn't want
Hey,
to get dunked on by Athing Mu, right? Come on, she's an Olympic gold medalist.
I'll
Could be
admit
worse.
when
Could be worse.
when my question wasn't as sharp as it could have been. I'll say that.
No,
Pickup contest.
I will say it's a good question. In the end, I would ask again. I would ask the question again when she runs another 600. I'm going to ask the exact same freaking question.
Well, listen,
That's it.
I I, I should have phrased it differently. I should have said, "Did you run it like an 8 or 4?" I should have said, "Did you was your mentality, like your approach, were you more aggressive like a 400, or was it a little more cautious and leaning on like an 800? Like, was it a long 400, or did you view it as a short 800?" But instead it came out the way it did. But that's okay. We move on. We got the pickup contest this week, Gordon. Do
Bill.
you want to run through what the contest is and what you're picking?
Yeah, so we gotta click on the QR code, FloTrack pickup contest. We got a sprinter showdown in Kenya prediction contest. 2 questions. Can you go 2 for 2? That's all it's going to take for you to be in the running to win. First question is, who will win the Nairobi men's 100-meter dash? We have the Olympic gold medalist and Olympic silver medalist matching up in early May. You never get this. So we have Fred Curley going up against Lamont Marcel
Yeah.
Jacobs in the 100. Who do you take in? Curley, Jacobs, or the field? Got to put the field in there because there's a chance neither of them win. And then the second question is, who will win the women's 100-meter? Is it going to be Shelly
Mhm.
and Fraser Price or Christine Mboma or the field? So who are you going with?
I'm going with Curly in the 100, and I'm going to go with Fraser Price in the women's race. How about you?
I agree. I'm going with Curly and Mboma. That's my decision. I believe Mboma is being slept on a bit. Uh, we forget how young she is and how great she was, and I think she's only going to get better. So I'm going with Mboma and Curly.
Good fields, though. You're right. This is rare. Try to get an Olympic rematch in most events in early May. You're not going to get it, let alone the men's 100. The reason I'm going Curly, Jacobs hasn't run outdoors yet. Curly, very consistent all last year. It was hard to find a bad Fred Curly race last year. I think Jacobs is still the number one guy right now, but this is his debut. So I'm going to go with Curly. And for the women's 100, if it was a 200, I'd go on Boma. 100, I think Shelly Ann will have enough, even though she hasn't run that much this year either.
Should we break down that Kenyan meet right now? Why don't we jump right into it?
For sure.
Let's do it.
Let's switch the order around here. Let's go
Yeah, switch the
to
order.
we got the full field there, Colt. Can you pull up just the full field of that men's 100 that Gordon sent you for Nairobi? Yeah, make that real big. Yeah, that's sweet,
The
sweet
top entry.
PDF.
It's at the very top, very top, very top.
Let's go 300% or something, Colt. It's a Wednesday. Let's go wild with it. I see some names. See, my eyesight's not this great, and I don't want to lean too much. I see Ferdinando Manyala, who's running really fast. You got Curly, Young, Jacobs, Tortu, Kenny Bednarik in there. This is legit. This is a legit field. If you're going not just top two, but if you're saying top 10, you probably have 4 or 5 top 10 guys in the world in this race.
Yeah, we can't forget about the Kenyan Ferdinand because he's on his not home course, but in his home country. He's not flying 8 hours to get to this meet. You know,
Mhm.
that's going to be a little bit of an advantage with rest. And like I said, this meet from top to bottom, like we'll break down each race, but starting with this men's 100, it's going to be a big, like, resume kind of data point that we're going to gather from these top sprinters that normally
Yeah.
we don't get in typical seasons. But we look at what is lined up on the schedule for Curly, for Jacobs, for Bromell, for DeGrasse, for a Bednarik, for a Lyles, for a Knighton, all these top guys who we think can be in the mix to medal or win, they're all going to be racing each other for these next two
Yeah.
months. And it all starts this weekend, which is very exciting. You can watch this race live on FloTrack. It's at 8 a.m. Central on Saturday. So it's like late afternoon in Kenya time, early morning here in U.S. time. But it's going to be a banger. And I'm really looking forward to Curly versus Jacobs. And Kenny B. Kenny B has kind of been under the radar, similar to Ferdinand,
Yeah.
the Kenyan athlete. There's been under the radar sprinters. Right now, we're all thinking Curly, Jacobs, and Coleman, right? Those are like the big three. Knighton now has put himself in the mix. But there's been some under the radar sprinters that, this be the moment to shine. Can they beat a Jacobs? Can they beat a Curly to kind of put themselves on the
Mhm.
map and be like, hey, I'm another potential gold medalist? So that's the men's 100. 200 also very good. You have Isaac McWalla from Botswana. You have Kyrie
Mhm.
King, Aaron Brown, um, basically consistent 200-meter runners. And then you go down the field, 800 is going to have good Kenyan action. Ferguson Rotich, Noah Cabet, Timothy Chariot. I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting Chariot, man. Chariot's
Yeah.
is on the track. What do you think
Debut.
he's going to run an 800 in? What do you think Chariot can run an 800 in?
Well, let me look. His PB 143. 143.1. He's run a fast one. He did it in Nairobi. Remember, this is at altitude for the sprints. It's going to make him quick. Last year, this is where Bromell ran his PB. But first race of the year, I mean, I'll say 45 low for Timmy C.
Okay.
But
45 low.
yeah, I mean, compared to what times we've seen so far. That's a good mark. But the 15, you got Paul Chalimo in
Yeah.
there for the
And Ronald
U.S.
Kemoy,
Yes,
who's can keep it honest. There's some good 1500-meter runners in that race.
Samatwo. Yeah,
Chalimo, we
this is
haven't seen all year long, right? This will be the first race for Chalimo. Have we seen
correct.
Chalimo at all in 2022?
I haven't seen him. Have you seen him?
I've seen his Instagram. That's all.
That's it. That's all you've
I
seen.
know he's I know he's working out. I know he's staying in
he's
shape.
he's
I'm
posting.
excited for I'm excited for Chalimo because obviously we see what the Bowerman guys are doing when they broke the records in 10K. Fisher Kincaid looking good. You see what Cooper Tier's doing and Cole Hawker. All these
Hmm.
top tier American distance runners are like showing out. But meanwhile, the multi-global medalist Paul Chalimo is just chilling in Kenya, just biding his time and be like, hey guys, don't forget about me.
Hmm.
I'm probably your best chance at a medal in the distance races. And we'll be interested to see what type of speed he has in this 1500.
Abel Kipsang in there too. Basically all these fields that we've listed so far are Diamond League quality. You go
Oh,
into the
yeah.
5, same thing because you just got a huge contingent of Kenyans and Ethiopians. Now the distance stuff's gonna be tough for it to be fast, but don't confuse fast with significant because the altitude it might make it slower, but still pay attention here to who's winning these races because it's going to come into play later on in the season. You got a steeple out there with a bunch of big names. Let's go over to the women's side. Here, let's keep scrolling. Cool.
Right there.
There we go. There it is. As you mentioned, Mboma and Fraser Price, Javian Oliver, 2021 Olympian, 200. Mboma's doubling up. Desiree Bryant in there for the U.S. 400. Waddle and Jonathas is running 800. Again, a lot of the top names in the world on the start list. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun meet. This is a good early season meet by any definition of the world. Where this is what you want in early May.
Yeah. It's basically the pre Diamond League in a way. We had the Diamond League
Yeah.
in Doha. That's really the kickoff of Diamond League. But We're having top stars. I mean, Chespol
This is
and
gonna be
Gerutu
yeah,
in the
right.
steeple. Are you
Yep,
kidding
yep.
me? And Jepkowick. That women's steeple, that's a final
Mhm.
without the Americans. That's what we're
100%.
looking at. That's a final
100%.
without the Americans.
This is gonna end up being better than some diamond leagues this year, Gordon. That's the reality. And as someone who does rankings and is doing a ranking show and needs races in order to get more information about athletes in order to rank them, so I'm not just guessing, looking at times from last year on a computer screen. I love this because I could look at a result and say so and so beat this person and they move up, and this person lost, they move down. This is good.
And the
This is good
meet
meat.
is live on FloTrack, 8 a.m. Central. Check it out. Saturday morning. Wake up early. Don't stay out too late Friday night. Wake up early Saturday morning and enjoy some great track and field action live on Flow. Also live on Flow, the
Keep
following
going.
day on Mother's Day is another track meet, but this time in Tokyo. And typically, the Tokyo Continental Tour doesn't really draw a lot of big names from the U.S. or from Europe. A lot of times, it's a lot of athletes from Asia. But in this situation, we're getting some potential world champions making
Yep.
their outdoor debuts or second or third race debuts. That's what we'll call it, second or third race debuts in Tokyo. I mean,
Colt's
starting
gonna
at
need
the
to zoom on
top,
this one. We're
you're
gonna
going
have
to
to
need to
zoom on this
zoom.
one again, Colt.
Colt, start the
This is
top. But in the men's 100, Christian Coleman is running. Christian Coleman hasn't run 100 yet this year. He's going up against my boy, uh, Rohan Browning, or Browning Rohan. Sorry if I said your name backwards or forward, who I love. He was a star from the Olympics.
oh, the guy with the long
But
hair.
he's got with the long hair, yeah. But Christian Coleman making a debut. He hasn't run 100 yet. What do you think Coleman's debut is? What should the over under be in the 100?
The over under. Let me tell you what the over under should be before I tell you what I think he's gonna run.
Okay. You're looking it up.
Over
You're
under
doing it.
for Christian Coleman in his 100-meter debut is gonna be 9.90.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, that's what he's going to do. He's going to do 990. Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to take the under too.
That would certainly be exciting.
I mean, when you see Bromell running 975 and Coleman was better than Bromell indoors,
Right. Right.
you got to think, all right, he can run 98.
988. I guess I'll say 988.
I'll go
That'll be my number.
986. I'll go 986.
That'd be
That'll be
something.
my number. That
Here's the
would be
thing: the
something.
Nairobi, unless, yeah, unless Nairobi's into a headwind or it's just a uncharacteristically bad race for the two favorites, the Nairobi time is going to be so quick because of the
Yes.
altitude. So it's going to look like those two guys are well ahead of Coleman. But all this is just leading towards pre. This is a great pre weekend.
All right, time
3
for
weeks
another
out.
over under. Another over under.
Yeah.
Men's 400.
All right. Here,
Michael
who's in that
Norman.
one?
Michael
Ooh.
Norman. And then a bunch of Japanese athletes. But Michael Norman, over under. What do you got? What's the over under for Mike Norman?
Oh, this one's tougher. This one's tougher. I would set the line at 45 even.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like 45 even. That's the line. And I'm going to go under. I think he runs 44 high.
You're gonna go under on that. Okay.
Yeah. Going under.
What's the
Back
six?
to back unders.
This is tough because all the travel and everything. But
Exactly.
anything in the 44s you think success?
Yes. You got to be
I mean,
running
his
44.
200, his
I do think
200
so.
Mount Sac was fast. Didn't win, but it was fast. That to me says he's in shape for 44. It's just we haven't seen a great quarter from him in a while. Not that 44.9 would be considered great by Norman standards, but I think 45 flat is where I would put it. Given all that information, given the first 400 of the year, given the travel to Japan, but also the fact that he's a guy who's run 43 mid, and just ran 19.8. But 40, yeah, 45.0. All right. What else? The 400 hurdles is supposed to be good. Yeah.
Oh, well, 800, Isaiah Jewett. What do you think? Quick. What's Isaiah Jewett going to run? He hasn't had
I have
that
no.
great of a season so far. Ran
Yeah. I mean,
143 last year. Hasn't touched that yet this year, obviously. But what do you think? Do you think he
for
wins?
the
Do you think he
800.
wins? Do you think he wins?
Well, let's look at this field here. We got.
Bunch of 145 guys.
Yeah. Well, this year's all been about 145, 146. It's all been ever since. I mean, the Olympics last year. It's been pretty slow. I will say. I'll say he gets second. Yeah, I'll say he gets second in this field. There's a lot of depth here, but I would put the over under at 145.5.
Got it. All right, let's move down to the men's 400 hurdles. Wherever Michael
This
Norman goes, his boy Ray Benjamin goes, or vice versa,
Rye
wherever
Benjamin.
Benjamin goes. Sorry,
Why'd you call him
Rye.
Ray? Jeez.
Ray. Same thing. Sorry, Ray.
No,
Sorry,
it's
Ray.
definitely not.
I know it's not the
You've been
same thing.
talking
I
about
made a
this
mistake. I made an honest
5
mistake, okay?
years.
I've been
Listen,
talking my entire
I
life. I'm going to
thought
make mistakes. I'm going to make
I
mistakes.
thought Dos
That's fine.
Santos was going to be in this one, and he's not. I thought I'd heard that Dos Santos was going to be here. Maybe that's a Diamond League. I heard him talk
It's probably
about.
Diamond League.
Yeah, I mean he's going to roll. The question is how fast. Let me think. I mean, would
I
it
know what your
be
over-under is going to be.
47.4?
You're making his over-under 47.4?
It's too
That's crazy.
fast.
Yeah, dude. Remember, when they ran 46, that was like unreal. You're making 47.4 the over-under? I thought you were going to make the over-under 48.5.
Okay, I'll go under then. I'll take yours.
Yeah.
Let's
But
see,
47.4.
47,
That's crazy.
47.4 would be his 10th fastest time ever. See how many
Yeah, but
times he
like,
ran
how many times do you run your
outside of
10th
you.
fastest time ever in your opener? You don't do that.
Well, last year he opened in 47.1 to answer your question last year. Then he ran
Maybe you're right.
47.39 in his second race. I'm not going to count the trials because he ran 46.83 by the end. No,
But
I'm
you got to
sticking
look at
with
the
mine.
field. But look
I'm
at the
sticking with
field. Is he
mine.
going to
Don't care.
This is
He
not
don't
a
need a
field
field.
that gets
You know who
Yeah, you
doesn't?
do.
There's two people who don't need a field. Rye Benjamin don't need a field. Carson Warren doesn't need a field to run fast. So I'll take your under and just win a bunch of fake money from you.
I mean, I think it's going to be under
47.4.
2, but I think it's going to be close to 48.5 being under.
48.5. 48.5. Do you know how easy
Yeah.
48.5 is for Rye Benjamin?
Yeah, I
He
do.
ran he ran 48.6 in the opening round of the tour. Or sorry, 49.1. In the semifinals, he ran 48.6 in Eugene.
Oh, you quit opening round 49-1. Okay. Yeah, and
Okay.
this is like an opening round for him. He's running against inferior competition. He's not
Yeah,
going to need to I
but
think he
he's
runs
traveling
low
out there.
40 He's going to run low
Hey,
48s. He's going to run low
someone
48s.
on this pod told me that depending on how far you fly, that's how hard you have to run. So LA and
That is
Tokyo is pretty far, so he's gonna have to run pretty hard. All right,
No, that's not true.
2019 he
It
opened
means they're not going out there to run relays is what it means. They're running actual legs.
47.8 was his opener in Shanghai in 2019. I don't think 47.4 is crazy. I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Stick away.
Ever since he's been a pro, he's had. I mean, he only had really two debut seasons because 2020 was 2020. So he had a 47.8 in 2019 and a 47.1 in 2021. So 47.4.
To each own. Okay.
It's
On the
fine.
women's side, I'd say the women's
Scroll,
100
Colt.
hurdles.
Scroll,
Women's
Colt.
100
Scroll.
hurdles. Most interesting. Kenny Harrison running. Kenny Harrison, she's run 12.2. 12 this year. Recently, she's only run 12.4. Are we ever going
Yeah.
to get the Kenny Harrison, the world record type Kenny Harrison again? Or have we already seen the peak of Harrison?
I mean, likely. Yeah, I mean, not as if we're running world records every week. I think when you slide back that tenth or two, everybody gets in the mix, and then you have Jasmine Camacho Quinn who can run a 12.2, which is where the problem comes in. I mean, tappers run really fast. What else though? Let me look at this other. Scroll up here, Colt. No, no, down. Sorry. Women's two. Do we have anybody in the women's two?
Lena Irby.
Okay. And Jane Ellis. All right. You want
You
to talk
didn't
about?
believe me when you didn't believe me when I pinpointed the one race. Come on, I
Well,
pinpointed it for a reason.
you just showed a stunning lack of debuts knowledge about Red Benjamin, so I have lost all faith in you.
Ray Benjamin?
Ray Benjamin or did you say
Right,
Rye
right,
Benjamin? I
Rye
heard
Benjamin.
Ray. I think you said Ray.
This is the problem. I talked to you, and I liked earlier. You're on a first name basis with Ferdinand Omanyala. You're like, I'll see what Ferdinand runs.
Yeah, it's because I didn't want to say his last name because I didn't know how to say it. So
Omanyala. It's easy.
Omanyala.
Also, everybody, listeners to the pod should know that about midway through the Penn relays, I was down on the infield. I was actually doing the video with Brian, the 4x15, or maybe it was the DMR one behind the scenes, and none other than Carl Lewis comes up to me in the midst of coaching and says, "Tell Gordon it's Mas Wan Gan Yi. It's not hard."
Yeah, I thought it was Maswanganwa. Maswanganyi.
And I said, "Carl,
I think
he's
there's
literally
something
told him."
mentally I think there's something mentally wrong in my brain that just I think it's dyslexia. That's what I think it is. My mom had dyslexia. So maybe that's why I can't say words. That's what I'm going to call it.
It's once you've said it incorrectly, it's hard to get you to say it correctly. Not just you,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
everybody. It's hard to break that. So maybe you had a lot of trouble with it early on. Whereas if the first time you hear it, if you hear it and say it correctly, then you lock it in. That's what we need to do. When there's a new name in track and we know you're gonna have issue with it, we just have you put your earmuffs on, and then we wait, and then we put you in a booth where that person's name is played for a minute straight, and then you're good.
There's a coworker that we have who works on a different sport at Flow Sports. He's been here for 4 to 5 years now. I've worked with him multiple times. I still don't know how to say his name.
Wait,
And
who's this person?
I feel embarrassed about it because I still get it wrong 4 years in. And I've said his name many times, right and wrong, and I switch it back and forth every time we interact on Zoom calls or whatever. And to this day, now that I'm thinking about his name, I'm not sure which way it is. I know it's one of two ways, but I even know like a month ago, I was like, okay, I got it. And now I've forgotten it already a month later.
I think you just say it Travis with a hard T.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not Travis. His name is spelled Hywel.
Well, in your defense, I've heard a lot of people who we work with say it differently all the time
Is
too. So
it's
you're
either
getting,
Huel or Howl. And
yeah, and
I think it's Howl. Is Howl right?
I've heard
Or is it
people say it
Huel?
both ways. I've
Yeah.
heard people say it both ways, and I haven't had as many interactions with him, so I've never heard him say his
He's a
name.
great guy. Covers grappling. If you guys love grappling, go over to flowgrappling.com. Great content. But man, I am bad with his name. And it's embarrassing because it probably comes off as disrespectful, but it's not.
Yeah.
I say Alicia Montano's name wrong all the time, and she's a multi-world medalist, and I can't get her name right. So
Yeah.
there's people who are just can't say their name right. It's just my burden to bear.
All right. Sound running is on Friday night. We got another pod on Friday, but that meet is on Friday night. I think the highlight is going to be the men's 5,000 Gordon, which is going to include Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Edward Cheserek, Nico Young, Joe Clicker in there. I thought yes, Joe Clicker's in there. Drew Hunter, Abdi Ahmed Nur. It's gonna be a good one. Hassan Mead. Do you think this is gonna be is this gonna be fast, or just fast?
I think just fast. I don't think it's going to be fast. Too many guys. I think it's going to be It's going to be sub 13:10, but over 13:04. It's going to be somewhere between 13:04 to 13:10. I think the top 3 run in that range, and then everyone else runs in the 13 teens, and then 13:20s, 13:30s. I don't think it's going to be a 12:05 something. I think it's just going to be sub 13:10, but over 13:04. That's what I'm going with.
I think it would be a big upset if Ingebrigtsen loses. I know it's early season, but this is the type of field he should have his way with at this stage of his career. Do you agree?
Yeah. What would be the best headline for who? Let's imagine Ingebrigtsen gets second. Who winning, like kicking Ingebrigtsen, will be the most fun headline in your mind? Or top 3? What would be their top 3 most fun people to beat Ingebrigtsen in this race?
What do you mean in terms of fun? Like in terms of you could write a cool headline because of a pun? Or are you talking about like the story that it would create?
Like the chaos of it, the like didn't see it coming, the excitement of it, the like, whoa, no one saw this come. Like,
yeah, there's 2. I can think of 2.
Because there's some people that if Hassan Mead were to beat Ingebrigtsen, it would be interesting because Hassan Mead hasn't been good lately. But like Hassan Mead has that establishment, and I feel like it's not that wild of a headline.
Yeah.
Same thing with like I'm giving you ones that shouldn't count. Like I don't know who else.
Well, those ones are also far-fetched. There's 2. There's 2 here. One would be Ches, because your head would explode, but also you'd be like, all right, is this the Ches reckoning we've been waiting for?
Is this now? Ooh, wow, great.
Is this now the next phase of Ches? Because I don't think, depending on the time and how the race played out, we may not even look at that as, oh man, Jakob had a bad race. We might look at it as, oh, Ches has found his groove again on the track. He's a threat. So that one would be good in terms of story. And the other one, I'm just thinking of ones that would break the internet too here.
I have the number one that you haven't said yet.
Well, it's Nico Young.
No, I have one that's kind of that. I have one I think will be bigger, but that's just me. The bigger than Nico Young. Yeah, Nico Young will get the younger audience excited, but I have one that I think Nico Young winning would be crazy. Yes, but I have one that I think would be kind of maybe
Drew Hunter.
Crazy. Yeah, Drew Hunter.
Yeah, Drew Hunter would be a long shot for it to happen, but it would be in some ways similar to the Ches thing, where it's, oh, this guy is fulfilling the potential. Here's another one. I'll give you another name.
Okay.
For the prophecy. Josh Kerr. Because he would talk a ton of mess after, and it'd be amazing. And then he wouldn't really, you'd be like, I'm not even a 5,000 meter runner. So from that perspective, the shit talking, Kerr would be number one. The youth movement, I think, would be Nico Young. And then if you're looking at it from oh man, this person is on the rise again. They're coming back. You'd look, I think, Cheserek and Drew Hunter.
All right, here's my next question. How much
Wild
money...
card, though. Hold on.
No.
Casey Nevelbard.
Casey.
Go ahead.
How much money can Abdi Hamid Nur make in this race? And by that, I mean his performance in this race, I think, will be a big data point for his contract that he signs when he goes pro. What type of bump in pay do you think he could get on his baseline salary for having a really good race in this one? By really good, meaning maybe getting second just behind Ingebrigtsen and he beat everyone else. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay.
So he gets second, basically.
Let's say he gets second to Ingebrigtsen and runs well. So assuming it's a fast time, whatever.
let me put it in this terms. Let me put it in this terms because I don't understand. I don't know contracts, right? But
Yeah.
I'll tell you in like so. Right now, Nur is a what, top 8 guy in the U.S., top 10 in the 10K. Would you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he would go. He would move from that to a contender to make a team. So is that 100K? Is that 50K? I have no idea. But I think if he ran really well and was right on Ingebrigtsen for second and beat all these other guys, I think you'd be looking at him in the 3, 4, 5, 6 range.
Well, here's my crazy even. I'm going to make it even crazier. I don't think Abdi Hamid has any shot in making the 5K team. It's just too good, right? With Chalimo, Tier, and the Bowerman boys. Like,
Well,
you're
there's 2
not going to get
teams though.
top 3. He can't make the other team, though, because the 10K team is during the West prelims.
Ah, you're right. All right, take back what I said. He gets $0.
Okay.
Sorry, Abdulhamid.
But here's the thing.
Bad year for the schedule. Tough break.
Let's put coaching hat on. You have Abdi Hamid. He's already won some titles, right? They've won so many cross country and did the double indoors. If he were to come out here and outkick Ingebrigtsen in a 13-0 race and win it,
Well, that's
do
different.
you think that would get Mike Smith to be like, we're scratching NCAAs and we're going for to make the 10K team? Would beating Ingebrigtsen in a 5K, beating arguably the best 5K runner in the world, be like, we can't not take this opportunity for him to make the 10K team. We have to forgo NCAA 10K. Because right now they're
Has
not. Right
anybody
now, I was like, is Abdi gonna do the 10K? He's like, no, they're not. But
right? Because he's a
at
collegiate runner.
7:40 p.m. at the Sound Running Men's 10K, Men's 5K,
Yeah.
he goes out there and he runs 13:02 and beats Ingebrigtsen. You're gonna be like, all right, maybe we need to make a change.
Has anybody ever gone pro mid race? I know we've been talking mid season, but what if he just he's looking really good at 3K? He doesn't want his stock to drop anymore, and someone throws a contract to him.
And he puts on
Right
the
there.
jersey at like
Yeah.
4K split, and then he's like,
It just
go
keeps
run.
going. It's like, look how
Switches out his
close I am to
shoes.
Ingebrigtsen.
Switches out his
Switches out his
Adidas spikes for like Nike spikes, like mid race.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. It's unfortunate. Totally forgot about the 10,000 meter thing because that's where I thought, hey, there might be some room to make a team,
Yeah.
but there's not. So I guess I should change where this would move him. It would move him way up, but maybe not. And I guess you could still say he's fringe trials contender, couldn't you, in the 5? I mean, he'd be a long shot, but if there's an injury or a couple scratches, like where would you put him right now? Where do you have him on your US rankings in the 5? Let me pull that up.
Well, I plan on updating him after this weekend, so my US
Well,
rankings are kind of a little weak
no,
right
I
now.
want to know where he's at right now. US individual rankings, distance, men's 5,000.
I don't have him.
You don't even have him in the top 12. Well, that's just a travesty.
Yeah.
You have him behind
right.
Morgan Beetlescomb? All right,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's just like, well, he hasn't
Behind
done
Connor
enough for
Mance?
me. He didn't.
Okay, well, all right. Then my point stands.
He's not eligible to be ranked yet. That's why he's not ranked, because he didn't have enough data that was going off of. He didn't run USA's. I'm not going to just all of a sudden put all this love into NCAA athletes for the sake of it. I'm waiting for this weekend for him to be put into the mix.
Well, I mean, Chalimo hasn't run, and you have him number 1, so whatever. You have Chalimo, Tier, Fisher.
Are you saying Chalimo's in the same? Chalimo's not the same category as Abdi Hamid Nur. Come on.
We know we have a better idea of where Nur is in 2022 than we do of Chalimo. It may not be in the top 12. That's fine. So you got Chalimo, Tier, Fisher, Kincaid, Hawker, and then McGordy at 6. And then McGordy, Beatlescomb, Klecker, Bohr, Brandt,
I'll probably put him
Barasa,
6 then. I'll put him 6
exactly.
in this field.
Yes.
Put him
yes.
6. Yeah.
All right. Women's 15 should be pretty good. Gabrielle Debut Stafford in there. On the college side of things, I think more interesting than Nur is Nagoose being entered. Because we haven't seen him in a long time. He's in, I think, the main section of the 1500.
Yeah. Well, we thought we were going to get Notre Dame at Penn Relays, right? And then they all pulled out, probably because they weren't healthy enough to put together 4 good legs to compete against the Ole Misses and the Texases of this world. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Nagoose does because, again, he hasn't run since indoors. It's kind of late to take this long of a break, like to not even go out there and run an 800 somewhere or a low key 5K.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he's dealing with some type of injury. You don't take this much time off from racing just for the sake of it. Cole, it's the 1500. Just go down to scroll down, right there. Athletic Brewing Men's 1500, right there. Yeah.
Breaking the fourth wall there, Gordon.
Yeah, breaking the fourth wall. It's just I feel bad for our producer. He's like, "Where is this race?"
I'm trying.
I think you're doing great, Colt. You're doing great. It's a race that he can win. I mean, Prakel's probably the best athlete in this. Between like Sam Tanner, I don't know yet what his fitness level is at. Brian Fay, he's more of a 5K guy. So it's a race he can win, which would be a good confidence booster. But I think the question is he ready to be in the 335 range, or is he more of a 339 guy right now? And hopefully this race can kind of give us a little bit of idea of where he's at. And more importantly, what he runs here does not qualify him for NCAAs. Because this race, all the college kids in this race, this meet does not count as an official NCAA qualifying meet because it doesn't meet the rule of having a certain number of eligible events because it's just a distance meet.
Right.
Which is why the NAU guys ran that 1342 randomly at Mount Sac because they wanted to do a fast 5K here, but they know the 5K they run here doesn't count. So Nagoose, he can run a fast 1500 here, but at time it's not going to look up, it's not going to go on TFers. So he's going to have to hopefully come back at ACCs and run a 340, whatever he needs to run at ACC final to actually qualify for NCAAs. So that's a little subplot going on that whatever Nagoose runs here doesn't count, is not deemed eligible in the NCAAs, which is a stupid ass rule for the record. They're running a track meet. It should count. Stop doing this whole like fake. You need to have a 100-meter dash in order for it to be an eligible meet. Like stupid.
Anyway. So while we're in the area of the 1500, one race above that, Cole, is the women's 15 that I talked about. Osika, Schlachterhofen, Gabrielle Debus Stafford, Monson, Sage Herda. That's a pretty solid field. I mean, I want to see Osika. I think she's top 5 in the U.S. Debus Stafford had a pretty good indoor season, just left Bowerman. Monson, a little bit longer distance, and we just saw her to go sub 2. This is a nice little mixture of people, and I think this pace is gonna. I mean, with all these races, the pace is intended to go quick. With that longer stuff, it might be a little bit tougher to keep it going, especially if you're comparing it to diamond leagues. But the potential is there for something pretty quick here.
Yeah, Debut Stafford. Be interesting. What kit do you think she's gonna wear? Just a plain Nike kit? What do you wear?
I believe so. That'll be it. Do you think this race?
Debut Stafford.
Do you think this race will finally give us some more clarity into the question that everybody's asking? Is Sage Herda the next Kate Grace?
I think it's not going to give clarity. I think it's going to make more questions because she's going to run well and be like, "Ooh, Kate Grace would have ran well too." So I don't know.
It's too bad we don't have anybody there getting interviews because that could have been the first question again. She could say to her, "What is with you people in this question? Why are we still talking about that?" Got one question for the chat I want to get to before talking about Mo Farah. Anthony says there was an article by a Jamaican journalist that argues that Jamaica should stop sending its schools to Penn Relays because there's no benefit for them. What do you think?
I disagree. The benefit is you're giving young athletes the opportunity to run in an incredible atmosphere that most high school kids never get to do. A lot of these kids will never get to do when they go on to a college in Jamaica or this could be. It's not about what do you mean gain from it? What are you supposed to gain from any what is that even supposed to mean? What gain? This isn't transact. They're kids. They're gaining experience of just enjoying track and field. That's what you gain out of it. Who cares about the times. Who cares about? You get to go to a great city, Philadelphia, and you get to run in an amazing atmosphere. And you get that's what you gain from it. You gain the experience of running at a cool track meet. That's what they're high school kids. This isn't a professional sport. You're a kid. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to go, if the kid doesn't want to go, then don't go. But if you want to get a free trip to Philadelphia, eat a cheesesteak, and win a wheel, I would do that at age 17, 18, 16, 10 days out of 7. That's what you gain from it.
Yeah, I don't know every single bit of the finances involved in it, but can't beat the atmosphere. And as someone who thinks it's beneficial for young people to see different parts of the world, I think it's a good thing. We don't benefit just from staying around our area. We, as a citizen of the world, you want to be exposed to as much as you can out there. And if track or whatever sport is the vehicle to do that, I think it's a good thing. Is it a lot of pressure for some of these athletes? Probably, but they'll tell you, "Hey, we competed at what champs, right?" Like they can get enough pressure running in their own backyard. So I think just being out there this year for the first year, I thought the atmosphere was great, and I think they do a good job of not over. Right, there's a event cap. Am I correct in saying this for high schoolers, especially on how many
Oh, I don't
races
know.
you can run at Penn? I mean, most of the time we're looking at on the high school side a 4x1 and a 4x4.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you could have them running a leg in the DMR, or you could have a 4x in there as well too. But there's certainly other meets where people are running a lot more. So yeah, they get to see a different part of the world, or get to return to a part of the world if they've already been there before. Other people get to see them. I think it seems like a good experience. That's why the partnerships have been going on for so long.
Yeah. Whoever wrote the article, the Jamaican journalists, why? What are you trying to do? You want less exposure for your athletes? Cool. All right. Let them run in a black box that no one watches and everyone sees it. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That really helps. Do you look at the view counts of some of these Jamaican races? They have like 500,000 of views.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, yeah, running in a race that 500,000 people watch on YouTube. Yeah, duh. Well, that's not worth it. We're going to stick to the races where 20 people watch it. Yeah. All right. Cool. Anyway,
Next
that's all I got
topic.
to say about that. Next topic. This is a great pod. This is a
Thomas
heavy
does
preview pod.
say Thomas says one of the twins from Edwin Allen ran the 4x1 and the 4x8. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are people who are going to run a lot, but running in a bunch of events could happen at a dual meet as well too. So this thing spread out over a couple days. Again, not having the individual event dynamic of it on the high school side cuts out, on the running side of things, cuts out a lot of the work.
I got some breaking
All
news.
right. Is it real breaking news?
Duke has lost. Duke has lost the.
It's real breaking news. Real breaking news.
Philadelphia 76ers are down 1-0.
No, yeah, we're not talking about that. Workout Wednesday is not going up this week. Just gotten word from internal sources. We're going to do 2 workout Wednesdays next week. But that's okay because we have a lot of great content that's going up throughout the week. Like you mentioned, 4x15 behind the scenes. Check that out. We've got a lot of cool. You did your race breakdown with Athing Mu. We're still going to the track and field show. So there's still a lot of great content this week.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2 workout Wednesdays next week. Next Wednesday. So it'll be double workout Wednesday feature. But this week, no workout Wednesday. Mainly because I haven't even started editing it yet, and it is already Wednesday. And it's better for me to take my time with the edit than to rush it out. So that's the breaking news. No workout Wednesday this week. I'm sorry, but you get 2 next week. So you're still getting the same amount. You just get 2 in one day.
Colt, is your mic on?
I'm back. What's up?
Was that breaking news worse or better than the Duke lost breaking news?
I mean, the Duke one was definitely funnier, but I liked this
Yeah.
one too. This one was pretty good.
It's great because he's reading an email that he got. When was this sent? Literally 50 minutes ago about the workout Wednesday. So it's not even
the
breaking
news is
because
the news is I haven't started editing yet. That's the news.
yeah. And
Hey, people
I
need to
saw that
know.
right before we started recording, and I thought, in no way is this relevant to mention on the podcast. And then Gordon reads it 50 minutes later, and it's like, this is a pretty good microcosm of how we operate in this space. I saw it early, didn't think it was important. You saw it late, and was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell everybody
Yeah.
that we're not
Well,
doing
people are
it.
going to want to know. You're telling me there's not someone who's going to be like, why isn't there a workout Wednesday? It's Wednesday. They're going to be refreshing the YouTube channel. Where's the Where's the
Sure.
Wednesday? Where's the Wednesday? Where's the workout? Boom, 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 boom. I'm helping
But
them out. I'm
saying
giving them
it,
the news. I'm breaking the news.
I know, but saying it as breaking news, I think might have been a little bit over.
What should I say? Like, this just in? Should I say that instead of breaking news? This just in. Alert.
Anthony's
They're
going to
say
post the
alert
link.
news.
Anthony's going to post a link to this Jamaican story. I want to read it. Anthony, throw that. Can you post a link in the chat, or is that not possible? Cole, can they post links in the chat?
I don't run that part, but maybe not.
Breaking news. We do not know if you can post links in the chat. Anyway, we'll find it. Tag us on Twitter or something. I'd like to read it. Maybe there's an argument I'm not considering. Mo Farah lost, rode 10K in Great Britain, which altogether isn't that surprising, seeing as how he's had some injury issues and obviously he's at the tail end of his career. What was surprising was who he lost to and how he lost. He got outkicked by someone being described as a club runner, 1350 man named Ellis Cross, who works a retail job, and all the British papers picked up the story because Farah was quoted afterwards as saying his elite track career, this might be it for him. I will mention, though, he says elite track. He doesn't say anything about road here. So
Imagine being Ellis Cross
mm-hmm.
at age 15, and you're sitting in your home, and you're watching Mo Farah win Olympic double in the 5 and 10K in London, and you're 15 years old, and someone comes up to you and says, 10 years from now, you're going to break him in a local road race and get a victory.
Yeah.
You would have been like, you're crazy. It's kind of wild. Like, it's probably the coolest experience ever for how many people get to say they beat Mo Farah when Mo Farah was, quote, trying? I mean, you have people who aren't like, that's just like kind of wild. I mean, he forever can say like, I beat Mo Farah. Like, he's in the same category as some of the all-time greats who have beaten Mo Farah. You know, he's in a select club, the I Beat Mo Farah Club. We should create that. We should make a little group and have a reunion every 4 years where it's all the people who beat Mo Farah and they talk about their experience.
He said, Farah had some quote about it had been like a long time since I lost to a club runner. It's like, yeah, you won 10 gold medals. That's how that usually works. Here's a quote from The Guardian. I think for sure, I'm just being honest with you guys, in terms of track, that's it, I think. Then they went on to say the 39-year-old athlete later rode back slightly on those remarks, saying that while he would definitely miss the World Championships in July, he was not completely giving up on competing at the Commonwealth Games or the European Championships in August. Then the next quote is, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. You just can't come back from each session. I've got a lot of work to get back into and race again and be in decent shape. And then it goes on to describe the injuries. I think he shifted to the marathon, right? But clearly the body can't take the marathon anymore. So then, all right, your other option, if you want to wear a British kit again in the short term, is getting on the 10,000 meter team. Well, that's tough because the speed is gone. So now you're stuck in this middle ground. And he wants to do it one more time. He wants to go out on his own terms. We talked about this last year when he missed the Olympic team. and when you keep trying to have that perfect send off and it doesn't go well, and you continually have to reevaluate your goals and downgrade what is an acceptable way to run your last race, it gets harder and harder to find an exit that is suitable for you. And I bring this up because everybody does retirements differently. And everybody says they want their favorite athlete to run until they can't run anymore. And I'm one of those people. The fact that he's still going for it, I would do the same thing. I'd like to think I would do the same thing because it's awesome to get paid to run. But this is the other side of that. Like, how does this end for Farah? We're trying to figure that out now. And it's not going to be on, it doesn't seem like it's going to be on the terms he wants it to be.
I think the best way for an athlete to retire is after one season of being way off of your game. Like, say you are a 1,500 meter runner and you make teams, or not saying you get fourth. That's not a reason to retire because you got fourth and didn't make a team because you were close. But if the year you fail to make a final in like the US, gotta hang it up because it's like, all right, you're like, what are you doing? Yeah, gotta hang it up if you fail to make a final. But assuming if those like you got tripped up and there was an obvious reason, but if you don't have the kick anymore, you're not all of a sudden going to get it back a year later because you're going to get older. Like kicks, there's one athlete though who did break that trend.
Brazier's out.
No, Brazier was hurt. That's a difference. If it's a legitimate injury, no. There's people who say they're hurt, but they're not. They're just not fast anymore. There's a difference between legitimately hurt and just not being fast anymore. The only person who was ever able to buck that trend of like, you don't have it anymore was Lopez Lemong. Because I thought Lopez Lemong didn't have it anymore. I thought he was going on a downward trajectory and it was just only going to go more south. But for some reason, all of a sudden, he had like a 3-year spurt in the 10K when he was able to compete with the best in the world.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, Lemong's back. But not everyone is Lopez Lemong. So I think after one season of trying and it's not there, that's when it's over. And it's okay to be over.
What about in the marathon?
Yeah, same thing. If you can't be within a minute of your PB, you got to hang it up.
Well, then that would have been it for Meb on 3 different occasions.
A minute of your PB or position at a high championship caliber race.
Yeah, I think this is a bad rule.
I think it's a great rule.
I do. It's hard though because you go back and you look at Farah. It's like, all right, when did the fall off happen? In the same way you look at it for someone like Nick Simmons. Remember, he made that team, but then didn't run because he was protesting the USATF guidelines around what he could wear. And then it was only but he won USA's that year. That 17?
That was 2017, but then he was not good ever since. 2018, he was done.
Right. Yeah. And it was I think 19 was his retirement, wasn't it? That was his retirement tour, basically. So sometimes it goes super quickly, but it's just still surprising because you look at Farah in 2020, pandemic year, he ran 60:27 and a half, which, all right, that's not the world's fastest time, but that's certainly one of the fastest British times. And then he ran that 1 hour run, which I don't read a ton into that, but he was still competing at an extremely high level. And then by 2021, he can't get a qualifying mark for the British 10,000 meters team, to go to the Tokyo
mark. Yeah,
he runs 27:47 was as fast as he could go in the 10,000. So this all happened within a span of 2 years. And the difference between 27:47 and 26:47 is massive, but that slip can happen. Same amount of time that's left in this podcast. But what I'm saying is, it takes you when you're getting better, when you're improving, it takes you many, many years usually to go from that mark to the faster mark, but you can lose it so quickly. You can go the other. It can take you 6 years to go from 28 to 27 flat, and then in 2 years you just go right back the other direction. Is what I'm saying. That seems to be the position
Yeah.
that Farah's in right now.
I think
I-
we just need to have a committee led by me and only me, and I just decide whether or not you continue or you are retired. And I'll do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a new segment. I'll do it once a year. I'll do it in like September, and I will say retired or you get another year. I'll be like, you get another
Following
year,
athletes
you
that
retire.
retire.
You get another year, you retire. So I'm keeping track of what's happening here, and I'll let the people know in September who needs to hang it up and who needs to keep riding.
Who keeps their tour card,
Yes.
basically. But someone like Farah would always get an exemption. If this was
Not in
golf
my
or
committee.
tennis, they would always get an exemption because the equivalent to Wimbledon would want to see them play. But yeah, the performances haven't been anywhere near what we thought he was going to be able to do. So I don't know. You think, okay, Commonwealth, he figures out a way to get on the team, goes there and gets sixth, and then he has like the proper. He kept searching for the proper goodbye, and it never happened because I think his decline happened so quickly. He wasn't ready for it. Because I think if he could go back in time, he would have said, all right, if I know that by 2022 I'm going to be getting beat by a 1350 runner, then I need to get out before then. So what's the best way to get out? But he didn't do that. He kept running through it because I think he believed that he could get it back, which would you blame him? He's won 10 freaking gold medals. Of course he believes he's going to be able to get it back.
I mean, I didn't believe.
I love that it's just Gordon on the committee, just a one-person committee.
Yeah.
It's a great
it's a
committee.
dictatorship.
There's no arguments. Everyone is on the same side. Everyone's on the same.
Always
You
unanimous
understand?
votes.
Unanimous.
Always unanimous
Do
votes.
you have a gavel?
controversy.
Do you gavel everybody
No.
in at the beginning of the meeting?
We do rise. We stand up when I walk into the room, and then we sit down when I sit.
Do
Very
you follow
nice.
Robert's rules of order? Is that how you do it? Do you have to recognize the chair before you talk?
I mean, the first order of business is to banish the 16 Bowerman Award. That should be thrown out.
All right.
That's the first rule.
We're leaving it there. FloTrack Podcast is the name of the show. Subscribe to the FloTrack Podcast YouTube channel. Remember the breaking news. No workout Wednesday this week, but check out the behind the scenes of the women's 4x1500 from Penn. I'm going to put up a race breakdown later on in the day of Athing Mu's 600. There's also This Week in Track. Gordon might get around to some ranking stuff later on this week. And we will have, of course, the Friday pod coming at you 9 a.m. on to close out the week. Yes, Gordon.
NCAA rankings are already on the site. U.S. rankings will be updated next week. U.S. rankings will be updated next week because I was waiting for these two continental tours and the sound running meet to kind of happen before I update the U.S. rankings. So U.S. rankings next week. Be on the lookout.
And then bonus pod's coming. Bonus pod's coming. We're trying to record that this week. So if you're a member, you're going to get the bonus pod. And if you aren't a member and you want the bonus pod, you got a couple days. Yeah. Gordon's, Goons, Kevin's, Kings. It doesn't matter. I mean, at this point, I don't care. Just sign up for either one. Thanks, Colt. Thanks, Travis. We'll talk to you guys on Friday.